Good evening, everyone, and here's your latest version of the Agile PMP. CJ Mills here, and today we're going to talk about listening versus hearing. So, I'm in Costa Rica, and I'm reminded about how many different dialects of Spanish there are. You think Spanish is just Spanish, but no, you get to the airport and you hear Spanish from the folks who are there who have to speak to everybody. You get outside to the taxis and you hear Spanish of the regular, people that are there. You start listening to the TV and you hear Spanish that's meant to, address the entire country. And you realize that there's all these different dialects, and I got to thinking, like, this is really similar to what we do when we have our everyday jobs as project managers. We're listening to different people, we're talking to all kinds of folks, and many times in our industries we have people who English is not their first language, right? So you have people who have maybe really thick accents. You have some people who were born here in the US, speak English, but speak English in a very different way that you might understand it. I mean, imagine folks from New York versus folks from the South versus folks from here in California. So the whole idea is, how much do you hear people versus how much are you listening? Now, for those of you guys that are fans of Wesley Snipes, I don't know if there's many left. He did make some good movies back in the day. Go back and watch the movie White Man Can't Jump. Go back and watch that movie and you'll hear a section where he talks about listening to Jimi Hendrix versus hearing Jimi Hendrix. And so I challenge all of you guys, do you hear Jimmy or do you listen to Jimmy? That's the question. Many times when we're working with other individuals, whether it's professional, it might be in life, with our family, with our friends, we're quick to answer the questions that they have, or we want to finish their sentences, or before they're even done asking their own question, we're ready to have the answer. So sometimes you got to slow down. Sometimes you have to make sure that not only are you listening to people, but you're hearing what they're saying. People want to be heard. So one tip for you: you have some resistance, people don't really agree with what you got to say, try this. Maybe after they're done speaking their mind, and you've heard them and you've listened and you waited till they had everything, they got it all out, repeat back to them what they said. Maybe you might start with, so what I hear you saying is, or if I got you correctly, I heard X. You want to give them some sort of idea that you did in fact listen to them, and not only did you listen to them, but you heard everything. All right, so this is a short one today. I just want to make sure that all you guys are really focusing in on your communication styles. You're really dialing it in, because at the end of the day, that's what we must do. And not just as Agile PMPs, but as family members, as friends, as husbands, fathers, mothers, daughters, wives. We have to make sure that we hear people. We don't just listen, but we hear them. So as usual, create solutions, adapt processes, think strategically, and share this video. Have a good night.